I show up and talk. There's more to it than that, Rod. There is more to it than that. And now I can actually see the interface and everything and the knob, so I can tell that my voice is coming through, guys. Hello, it's Murder Moose 21. Okay.
We are officially in the point where Josh has lost his mind. I'm Rod. The crazy guy is Josh. We are Murder Moose, part of the podcast of Slash and Cast Podcast Network.
Wait, you already knew I lost my mind? I didn't even have to tell you yet?
I mean, dude, people who lose their mind see it in each other. They see it. They see it. They see it when we're drinking our soda on the hour every hour. That's when we see it.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's I'm like super happy that we did this movie like right this close to Psycho Goreman, just so it can showcase how a movie, like, I don't know, like, would you consider this movie to be like kind of in the same like subgenre as Psycho Goreman?
This is way more horror with light comedy elements. Psycho Goreman is a horror comedy with very, very heavy comedy elements.
Yeah.
And I think the difference is that really tone wise is there's humor in Willy's Wonderland, but it's not heavily stressed nearly as much as Psycho Goreman. It is like, it's more of just like embracing the ridiculous situation of the movie and what's happening, and Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage. And
see, I feel like it, yes, and hell no, all at the same time, because like why I love where we did it so close to Psycho Goreman. Yes, that was more on the comedy side, but if you take this and put it side by side with Psycho Goreman has now set the bar for me and like indie horror and just how good you can do a movie with art direction and everything all the way through. This movie fucking sucked, man. This movie was bullshit. It was a piece of fucking junk. And it just goes to show, with good art direction and good direction, this movie could have been fucking great. It could have been so good. There were so many good things going for this movie, but this movie can suck my fucking dick. Because, like, in comparison to Psycho Goreman, I mean, you know, just, I really wanted this movie to be so good. That was so hard. No, this movie... I'm totally kidding.
Tell us, Josh, how do you really feel? How are you feeling about the anger that you feel about going into Willy's Wonderland? It's
so fluff. There is nothing to the once you actually get down to the meat and bones of the actual story. Once you get there, it's actually a good story. There's good backstory, and there's good like there's enough that I ended up like actually liking the movie, but I really wanted to love it at the levels that I loved Psycho Goreman. And if you just spent a little more, like, all the characters, all the lead up, there's nothing. Like, you don't care about any of these characters. They could all die like at the 3/4 point, and you don't fucking care about any of the characters. So I don't know, man. Like, this movie is a sloppy mess that has a whole bunch of good ideas and zero good execution.
I think that there's a overall goal when it comes to Willy's Wonderland. They tried to make a really dumb movie that you could just sit and turn your brain off and enjoy. And I will say
through every single piece of it, though.
You know, I enjoyed it. I didn't love it as much as I wanted to love it. Like, that, there was plenty of this movie where I'm like, man, it's just a little bit, you tighten a couple of things up, and you have a really, really, really fun movie.
I could see through all the optical flares and all the stuff they were putting over top to emphasize certain aspects of his like power or something. It was just an overlay of optical flares by Video Copilot, and that without that, there was nothing. There was bad acting, and there was nothing going on but like a really nice set, but it was just that you could see through the whole fucking thing. Like side by side with Psycho Goreman, it had no heart whatsoever. It had bad acting. It had a bunch of whole like ideas, but like everything that put Psycho Goreman together that made it feel like seamless and like it knew what it was the entire time, and that art direction of all the characters being like top notch, and the score bringing it all together. The score in this movie was trash. Like the entire time I was taken out of the movie because of how terrible the fucking score was, man. It felt like a like terrible Shutterstock, like I don't know, like album. So in comparison, man, because Psycho Goreman had like I want to buy the album and I want to buy the special edition DVD. Like putting this against, like I said, man, Psycho Goreman is literally the best movie ever made. You can't beat it.
And I bet you that so what I heard was Willy's Wonderland's like budget was like $5 million.
Oh my god, I'm so pissed off even more now. The T-shirt is better than the fucking movie. That's it. The movie was made for the T-shirt he's wearing.
So the thing is, and this is an honest to goodness thing, I think that it's weird how little they spent developing the characters in the movie outside of the main female like lead and then Nicolas Cage. And Nicolas Cage, I think, is by far the best thing in the movie, besides maybe you can argue with things like I really liked some of the animatronics, the puppet designs, the characters in Willy's Wonderland. Willy is designed.
There's two that were all right to me. Like the creepiest one was the fairy chick was the creepiest one to me. And my problem with her was she seemed like she had creepy elements. Like the creepiest scene in the whole movie was with her when the lights are going off and on. She had the creepiest scenes for sure. Yeah. But as an animatronic for that time period, she doesn't work.
She didn't look like an animatronic compared to the other ones, right? She looked like a person in a suit compared to the other ones.
But all I'm saying is I just was so satisfied with all of the art direction in Psycho Goreman. Every single character side by side was just better than the rest, and I was so disappointed with 95% of the character design in this movie. Like I grew up with Rocky and Bullwinkle and Chuck E. Cheese having these like animatronics, so I know the look and feel of those animatronics. They weren't fucking people in shitty costumes. They spending the time and attention to those animatronics. For me, coming from that time period and loving these types of movies and everything, you have to spend the time on those details for me to appreciate this fucking movie. I'm pissed off, man. I'm pissed off. This movie was
it's fine, and I understand. So I can understand it. There's some elements that, like when it came to especially the Willy's Wonderland crew, that design-wise I really loved. Willy was designed awesome. I thought he was creepy as fuck, and they had him in the forefront. One of the biggest mistakes I think this whole movie made, I think I loved Nicolas Cage,
by the way. He was Nicolas Cage the entire time, and he got to... I'm sorry. I'm
fine,
so
man.
Passionate. You're good. The only time this movie felt like it was coming into its own was at the 3/4 mark, when he was finally on the machine and he was doing the montage dance. I was like, this is the first time this movie feels like it is being itself. The rest of it felt like it was a lost crew trying to accomplish something, and it wasn't working until that point of the movie.
I feel like there were little bits of what were like, what was like kind of like hinting at that element, right? Because we're not going to spoil it. We'll tell you when we're going to spoil the movie. Nicolas Cage ends up changing his T-shirt like 3 or 4 times during the movie, and the hilarity of that, how he does it, and how it's. And the other thing is, his hourly soda breaks are ridiculous, and to the point where I was watching this movie and I'm like,
I have to go back and watch it again to see if the timing of them actually makes sense or not, because he doesn't bring enough for that amount of breaks either.
So I actually, this is what the funny part about it was. So this isn't a spoiler. It's just kind of a thing the character does in the movie. He
Popeye?
So this is what I was sitting there going, I was waiting for, this is honest, I was waiting for Nicolas Cage. This doesn't happen in the movie. I was waiting for Nicolas Cage to be like an angel that was sent from God to go into this place and like destroy these things because they're evil. I'm not going to say why they're evil, but they're evil. And then like the sodas were his way of like staying on Earth, and he had to drink them every hour to like, be relevant.
I like that nothing was explained, to be honest. It kind of adds to this. Like it's good.
Yeah. So somebody pointed it out, and in a review I watched, and I laughed my ass off, and I actually think that is the case. So when the whole premise here, Josh, read the IMDb thing real quick for it, because then I'll explain what I think.
Let's find it.
I think why it happened, and it actually kind of adds to the I don't give a fuck flavor of this movie. But.
A quiet drifter is tricked into a janitorial job at a now condemned Wally's Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland?
What? What did I say?
You said
Wally's?
Wally.
It does say Wally's.
Oh, it is Wally's. Why? Wow, there's a typo in IMDb.
It actually says Wally's.
I was like, what are you talking? It does. There's a typo.
And I just read it.
Yeah.
Look at Nicolas Cage's face in the trailer. He's like taking a dump.
Yeah.
The mundane tasks suddenly become an all-out fight for survival against wave after wave of demonic animatronics. Fists fly, kicks land, titans clash, and only one side will make it out alive. That's the whole fucking movie.
Yep.
That is the entire movie. The end.
So when I saw a YouTube video of talking about this movie, he goes, his thing was he thought that because when he accepts this job, he goes, make sure to take plenty of breaks. That every time his hour is up or whatever on his watch, that's him taking a break. And it's like what translates into the best part of that whole situation after what Josh is talking about. There's another character that's almost dying, and he's fighting, and his watch goes off, and he goes, "Okay, I gotta go take my break now." And it is the most you're like, why would this? It is the most asinine thing that happens in the entire movie. That's filled with evil Chuck E. Cheese characters trying to kill everyone, and
that actually makes his whole motive makes sense now, and the entire. Because it's spick and span at the end of the movie. But he's just like a drone. He's just like a drone sent from fucking hell or heaven or muscle god heaven.
That's why I said
he's from
is
Fast
he
and
an
the
angel?
Furious. He's just from Fast and the Furious. He just came off the set and came over here just to gas up and was like, "What the fuck? Why are my tires all messed up now?" Sorry. All right, I guess I'll spend the night.
I think this might be the only movie I've ever seen, or not the only, but it's one of very, very, very few, where the lead actor actually doesn't say a single word the entire movie. He grunts a couple of times and I think if they hadn't gotten Nicolas Cage in this movie would have been hot garbage. I think Nicolas Cage is really like...
This movie, after I watched it, because I was so fucking pissed off, I literally put on my bucket list, I don't know if it's accomplishable or not, but I put on my bucket list, write and direct a good Nicolas Cage movie. So now that is on my bucket list because I fucking hate this movie so much. I now have to write and direct a better movie for Nicolas Cage that is on my fucking bucket list now. I'm sorry. I just
he's done a couple of.
I love
I mean,
Nicolas Cage so much.
Yeah.
He has done so many good fucking movies,
Yeah.
and then I just see him in movies like this that, like, it could have been good. It could have been another Mandy, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And Mandy was just so fucking good. And
Chainsaw Fight.
Oh,
Chainsaw Fight is all you
dude,
have to say. Chainsaw Fight.
Mandy is when you're going to create something that's that metal, it's just the most metal thing I have ever seen. And then it tops itself with being more metal. And then you don't think it could get more metal. And then it is the most metal. It's the most metal movie you'll ever see.
It's up there, man. It really is. I mean, we've talked things that we talked about in here, like the dark and the wicked and stuff like that. That's pretty fucking metal itself.
That's
and like
metal.
even anything for Jackson gets pretty metal at times. And you start going like stuff we've talked about.
I fucking love metal movies though, man.
Yeah.
Like the ones that you're just like, holy fuck.
There's a reason why horror and metal go together well, man. It's like I've been obsessed with Ice Nine Kills lately, and they're like all their horror themed songs and everything like that, and the Stabbing in the Dark specifically, which is a dope fucking song, but it's about Michael Myers, right?
Nice.
And it's about the original Halloween. And
did you ever hear Kill Whitney Dead? They were like almost a joke band. Well, they're not a band anymore, just like hardcore stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
But then they always used movie clips from like horror movies and whatever built into like around the movie quote.
Well, I mean, it's like awesome. That was like Austrian Death Machine, right? Do you know about Austrian Death Machine, which was I think off of As I Lay Dying or something like that, one of those early 2000 metal bands. And
dude,
it's literally
that's all the bands that I like. That's when I was in metal and hardcore and stuff, right?
So every single one of their songs is like a Arnold Schwarzenegger quote is like the title of the song and everything. Like, it's so cool.
What is this Wrong Turn? Like, did they redo Wrong Turn?
They redid Wrong Turn. Why? Yeah, it just came out.
But why? Why do we need a reboot of Wrong Turn already?
Wrong Turn had 6 sequels, dude. Or 5 sequels. There's 6 total movies. It's insane. I completely don't understand any of the
fucking crazy. I have this I don't know where I put it, but I have this like nameplate of when I worked at the movie theater in my city when I was 14 years old, and Wrong Turn was in the movie theaters when I was working in the movie theater. Like I remember the handful of movies that came out at that time, and to think that in my life when I've worked at a movie theater and seen the fucking original. Am I that old already that they're fucking remaking? Like, come on, man.
Dude, it's remakes.
Oh, that's just, it's blowing my mind on like a really weird level that it's pissing me off.
Yeah.
No, I'm just,
well, dude.
I mean,
last
an
year.
Old man now.
I mean,
everything's pissing.
Get off my lawn!
What the fuck? Stop it! Stop it!
Well,
I'm
dude,
not that old. Fuck off.
We had last year The Ring come out for the 3rd time. So we took a Japanese movie that got an American remake, which just got a second American remake. I think. I don't know for sure what that movie is. As I've heard it described to me. You could yell at me if you're listening to this and I'm wrong, but like I heard it described as a reboot / remake.
Yeah,
and
did they do another Grudge movie too with
or Grudge, was it?
Yeah,
That's what it was. It was another The Grudge, which is still it's the exact same thing though. It's a Japanese movie that turned an American movie into a rebooted American movie. It was just after The Ring. So it's even less original on top of all that. So it's I mean, dude, it's one of the reasons why I wanted to do a lot of the foreign stuff, because like we have so many people into horror
movies though.
Yeah.
I've never seen the original. I saw Ring U, but I never saw the original Grudge.
Yeah, I haven't seen many of the. I've watched a decent amount of Japanese movies, not like a huge amount,
They're
but like
creepy, man. They're creepier to me for
Yeah.
some. Like I love how the ones that I've seen, they don't feel like super like polished on purpose, and that creeps me out even more. They're like, I don't know. There's like a weird like jump cutty feel to some of the scenes and stuff that are like it makes it more unsettling, and that's the type of stuff that I don't know, man. Like, if you're gonna have comedy and horror, this movie pisses me off so much, man. I just wanted I didn't have expectations because it's not like I heard that this movie has been trying to be made for like 20 years or some shit. Is that true?
A long time, yeah.
So
I
why?
think
Like, what is the character, and why is it been so long? And like, is there a fandom to this? Like, I had zero expectations going in, other than I just saw Psycho Goreman, and the bar's fucking high for comedy, horror, and like character for me.
I assume someone was young and went to a Chuck E. Cheese or something, and then tried to write a script, and then finally, over the last 10 years, all the Five Nights at Freddy games became mega popular, right? And so it's like, that's a big connecting thing, because now Blumhouse is making a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, or they've been trying to do that for years and years also.
That's going to be hard to translate, man. Like,
I mean, that's kind of what this movie shows, though, man. It's hard to translate, and I've
like I said, man, the little tricks that they used to elevate it and actually make it look visceral and good was only a polish that was added in post. Like, the rest of it like, it wasn't there. The acting wasn't there, the direction wasn't there. Like, it was hollow. And then they added some optical flares and some fucking camera shake in post, and then it made it look good. And at some points there was the flare like fell off and then came back on, and like the lighting hadn't changed, and I was like, the effect literally just broke there and then turned back on. And it's only probably because I am like overly analyzing and looking through this stuff and whatever, but it pisses me off that it's that like, it should be better. It should be better.
That's what I liked. That's one of the many reasons I like talking to you about these movies, because your perspective as a, like, you know, indie filmmaker yourself who makes little things, it's cool to see you like pick these things up. I don't know. I have an ability, and maybe it's just my brain is breaking in my old age, to kind of try to, you know, turn my brain off and just enjoy this shit. And that's why I've been playing Deadly Premonition.
My wife's sitting beside me just like, because she's like, why does Nicolas Cage choose these terrible fucking roles? And then he hasn't said a single thing the entire... I'm just like, well, I don't think it needs a call. But...
You know, it's like, your wife's going to be like, why are we watching this? I'm going to murder Rod. I'm going to find where he lives in the United States,
but
and ride a moose down.
I love that Nicolas Cage has that fucking range. Like, you'd never know what to expect from Nicolas Cage, and that's why I love him even more. Yeah. Like, he has kind of, you know, started to typecast himself into these types of roles now, because he does more and more and more like B movies and stuff, which I don't understand how, like, he still gets cast in like big blockbuster style movies, but then he still does these types of movies. Like,
he hasn't done a big blockbuster style movie in a long time. The last one he probably did, I don't know if it would be National Treasure 2. No, I don't know what.
Was he in Pierce?
He's not.
No.
What
was that?
I
like
think Knowing or Next or something like that. Maybe you're talking about is, I don't know. He did a lot of. So Nicolas Cage became really, really prevalent in the like early to mid 90s, and then by the late 90s he was doing like the biggest movies in the world, and they turned into him doing the biggest movies in the world for a lot of the 2000s, right? Like that was where he started doing.
Well, he's still in the Croods and stuff, man. Like, that's huge franchise stuff.
I mean, but that's okay. But that's the difference, though. Like, you and I, it's. This is how I think about most animated. He was in
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Like, that was one of the funniest voices in the whole movie too.
the noir Spider-Man he did.
Like I have so much respect for Nicolas Cage. He's been in like some of my favorite movies growing up too, right? Like Face Off. Come on.
Speaking of which, they're supposedly either making a sequel / reboot for Face Off.
Oh my god!
I think it might be a sequel.
But if you like the reason it worked is because it was what was that, like John Woo or something film back?
It was John Woo, yeah. It was
like it was in his prime. It was the time period that it would flourish in, and it was also at a time in both of their careers, John Travolta and Nicolas Cage, where it was like a perfect high five for each of them.
Yeah.
Like it was just timing wise perfection. And then he was coming off of The Rock, and he was seen as that action hero right then and there. And like before that, Leaving Las Vegas, like that was like 95, 96, 97. Like that was his like boom, boom, boom. And then Con Air too was in there, and I loved him in Con Air. Like those are like major milestones in my like life watching those movies. Like they set a foundation for the types of movies I liked in my like more grown up years because of the foundation of like him in or as an action hero. And like the Gone in 60 Seconds, like I felt some of those vibes in this character. Like they borrowed a few of his like isms from that movie and stuff in this, right? Like I feel like they appreciated him a lot, like as much as I do. Like the people in this movie, they're like, man, we got fucking Nicolas Cage, but that's all they got. They got Nicolas Cage, and then the movie was kind of just around it. It felt like
the teenage characters in this movie were some of the worst teenage characters I've seen in a movie.
There was nothing. It was just lipstick.
Yeah. Can't put pig on or lipstick on a pig and call it your prom date. Or you can, but I mean, it's not going to fool anyone.
It felt like this movie with just a tiny bit better. I don't know, man. Like it felt like the set was just like a set, and there was like no heart put into it whatsoever. It felt like they just didn't take that extra step to pepper on that. I don't know, like a little bit more. It felt like the whole time. Okay, so when I was in this band, the Maroons, we did this like shitty fucking tour that was like in our just our province, and it wasn't like advertised properly at all. It was like just a fucking mess, right? So me and these like bands from like up in Alberta or fucking BC, wherever else, we go on this like mini tour to like like in the middle of fucking nowhere places that, you know, if you're not a local, you're not gonna. It's pretty much just a locals only type vibes this whole tour, right? And one of the places we're playing in a snowstorm at an abandoned, like it used to be a huge like rollercade turned into like a night place, whatever, right? Like a nightclub
or something.
But like no one shows up. It's just the bands and like this weird, like seriously, just the bands and stuff. And this movie felt like that place, like it, and like the whole vibe, like no one showed up. It's just the bands. The whole movie felt like that weird set, that nightclub that is shut down and you're there. And it just felt like that. Like instead of, I don't know, man. Like it, that's the vibe this movie gave to me. I was pissed off that no one came.
It's the whole like it's Josh's like PTSD from like touring back in the day, and he's like, no, nobody's here, no.
I didn't care about that. We just got fucking hammered and had a great fucking time and played to each other. It was actually one of the best. Like we, as bands, man, you just that's what being in a fucking touring band is, man. Like you played in fucking bands, man.
Oh man. There was like I said,
I'm not
I
mad about
understand.
no one coming, dude. No, it was like the
I know.
feeling that of the walls, because they were like the weird, like it of the glue that that I like to talk about. All I could see was the glue in this movie. Essentially, is what like I could just see through absolutely everything, and like seeing a little bit here and there is like one thing, but like for me, this whole movie was just like just keep showing Nicolas Cage, because that's all, that's it. That's it.
I mean,
he should have danced
again,
more. Like seriously, I just that whole montage was the best part of this movie, and I just want more of that, like 80s, like him doing the like dancing aerobics part. Like just give me that on a loop, and this movie would have been 10 times better.
Man, Nicolas Cage dancing is quite possibly one of the greatest things ever. But you know what I do believe now? That if I gave Nicolas Cage like $200 to clean my house, Nick Cage would do
that is not his brand.
Job cleaning my.
That is not his brand, man.
He would clean my house so good. He would clean it so good. Nicolas Cage, you can't even explain how good of a job this man does cleaning this abandoned Willy's Wonderland.
Dude,
he goes in and
some major good camera work on the cleaning montages, better than most of the rest of the fucking movie, to be honest. Like, it is really good cleaning montages, but it's because they were spending the time on Nicolas Cage and nothing else.
I wonder, they spent $4 million of their dollars on Nicolas Cage.
I wouldn't fucking doubt it, man. If he's that expensive, maybe that bucket list thing isn't going to happen. But, hey, I still want to write and direct a better fucking Nicolas Cage movie, because it won't be hard after watching this. Because this movie, I really am disappointed.
Josh is a sad panda.
I was concerned, because you usually say anything after watching a movie in the Discord chat, like the one that we're on right now recording this show. There's at least I watched the movie. Like last week, you at least said I watched the movie, and I'm like, okay, I appreciate that. Okay. This week, nothing. And I was like,
I didn't.
No, I'm not reading into that. I'm just kidding.
No, I know. It's a perfect point, though. I think that this movie, although I had fun with it, isn't memorable. And that's a big thing, right? It's like there's silly moments that do stand out, like the Spanish-speaking turtle and Tito or whatever he does, and him being a complete creep as this like weird animatronic like turtle in like a mariachi band costume. But man, I don't know. I wanted more.
See, like, when you start to understand why it's still there, it at least gives the movie enough legs for it to, but it takes too long to get to any type of backstory. And by that time, you had lost me in any lead up for caring about the well-being of any of the fucking characters. They were such throwaway fucking teenage characters. I thought they were going to set anything up in a way that was like interesting. And it just was, we're on a roof and then we fell fucking through. Like, okay, cool. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, even like the clumsiness wasn't clumsy enough. It felt clumsy in a I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't like thought out thoroughly beforehand.
Oh, so I have a question, and this again, I don't think this is a spoiler. At some point, the teenage characters all fall through the roof of Willy's Wonderland. I swear to God, anytime they showed the ceiling after that, it didn't look like anybody had fallen through the ceiling. I'm like, come on, man. I mean, this movie all feels like it's taking place in like the middle of nowhere, Alabama, or like Mississippi or something like that. everyone in the movie besides Nick Cage is a redneck, and he might be a redneck too, but like you don't know because he doesn't talk the whole movie. So I'm like, yeah. I mean, there's a guy named Tex.
I do like
one of the
that
bad guys
had
is named Tex.
I do like that they had the like the overly sexualized like pair characters, like cliche from like the old horror movie cliches. So
from the slashers.
They filled in some of the like those tropes that you are expecting in like this style of horror, but it wasn't done well. And I mean, like, I don't know, like I'm so disappointed.
My thing about the sex characters was the girl was dressed like a hooker from about 1983, and I'm like, what?
The
She's
ladder
wearing this
scene.
Yeah,
I'm going first. Don't look.
She's got this fur coat thing on that I'm like, what the fuck is this woman wearing? Oh man.
I think honestly, it's so funny because like I think my wife and I are just realizing that we're like kind of actually older than we are. Like, there's like, I think she's like watching The Bachelorette or just something, and like in me watching this movie too, I just feel like what you said, the old fucking dude on his porch, like, get the fuck off my lawn. Like, am I that old now? No, I yes and no. I'm doing this weird inner struggle thing because like I don't see eye to eye with these dumbass fucking characters anymore because I'm older and wiser. And and it's just like, you know, most of the time in like even the comedy horror, you can still see eye to eye with the character, or you at least want to see eye to eye with the character. But in this, it's just you don't understand overly why the lead character motives are until that 3/4 mark again. Like that, like when you get that revelation, it gives her character a lot more, and you should care about her a lot more when you find out. But then I still didn't really care about her. I was like, she had devastation. That should have been front loaded, man. Like if you had, if you knew this about her character before the like front title, then you are invested in her character the entire movie. I didn't know anything about her until the 3/4 mark, and then at that point I'm like, kill her off anyways. I don't give a fuck, man. So like you gotta structure it a little better so the audience has something to care about. You don't care about fucking anything but a mute guy, and just because he's Nicolas Cage, it's not enough. It's enough for me because he's fucking Nicolas Cage, and he was so Nicolas Cage in this too. Like the beard and the sunglasses, they got Nicolas Cage right. But come on with this script. Fuck you. Yeah. Fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. Oh man, I'm so pissed off.
Because what you're saying is legitimate, because you're never worried about Nicolas Cage, because you see almost
he's
immediately
invincible. He's got the fucking game genie plugged in, man.
So then you have these teenage characters that come in to the building too, and you're like, well, I mean, the lead female character is pretty cool, but you, like you said, you don't know anything about her until like most of the movie's up, and you go, well, I mean, that sucks. And you're like, but at that point you're like, all these teenagers fucking suck so bad. They're like, they can all just die. I don't
see, but it's so funny because this movie pissed me off so much. I don't have confidence that I would make a better movie than this, but it pissed me off to the point where I have to say now that I want to create a better movie for Nicolas Cage now because of this.
He's done, man, I don't know. I think this movie, again, I had way more fun with it than you did, but yeah, I understand. I understand what you're saying, and I understand issues with it because it is what it is, man. It's a B movie, and how much you enjoy it is at that point.
Honestly, strip away $4 million of that budget and give this movie to fucking someone else, and it would have been a 10 times better fucking movie.
I mean, not anyone else, but
I'm
maybe.
just saying,
I mean,
better crew would have done a better job with this. I hate shitting on this movie so much. just because it's full on execution wasn't there. But I'm saying if the team that did Psycho Goreman had their hands on this, it would have probably been a 10 times better film. And that is how I judge films, man. The team involved. If you can't I want to know what the budget of Psycho Goreman was, just to understand apples and oranges and peaches and bananas, because they are all different beasts. But if someone that has way less can accomplish way more and way better in my eyes, then it doesn't make sense.
I can see why this director hasn't directed a movie since 2007. So he directed like 8 things or something before this, or 7 things before this, and they're all like between 96 and 2007. So that's a 14-year gap in between directing and not directing. That's pretty impressive, actually.
What?
Somebody gave this guy... Yeah. Interesting. He's originally from Denver, Colorado. Okay, let's I don't think this movie is worth renting at $20 or whatever it's being charged right now. I had fun with it, but like this is like a put it on from like Netflix or Amazon or whatever kind of thing for me. And we've heard Josh's very strong opinion of this movie, so I don't think he's going to tell you to go watch it. So, especially if you have any movie making background like Josh.
No, I don't know. I don't like this movie.
Okay.
But I did at the same time, man. I hated its execution. Like at the end, I was still like the runtime is super short, but because I was so annoyed with it, it felt longer. But it's still at the end. I liked the outcome. I did like the outcome. Like it was like at least satisfying enough at the end that I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But
it's fun. It's fun. It's not like, again,
this is my take on it, just because I wanted so much more.
Yeah.
Because the idea and the characters and everything is gold, but the execution is fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like brown.
Yeah.
Or the opposite of gold. What would be the opposite of gold? Shit. Okay. That's
I mean, exactly. Brown shit. Opposite of gold. I mean, I don't know anywhere you could trade shit for sexual favors. You can trade gold for sexual favors in some places, but
it could have been so much better.
Okay, we're gonna spoil it now.
Better.
And that's
Beth Grant, she was perfect as the sheriff too. Like she's like almost typecast as that like the nasty like bad guy,
Southern,
like, and she was perfect again as that character in this. Like, so like I don't know, man. Like it has all the ingredients. It has all the ingredients. All of the ingredients are there. It just was like you don't put all the ingredients in a blender.
I think that there was a genuine interest in having Nicolas Cage fighting animatronics from Chuck E. Cheese, and they put that together, and there was just the surrounding crew wasn't nearly as entertaining. So
I don't know, man.
So
it has still very watchable moments in it.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a lot of good stuff. It just didn't work together for me. Whatever.
Yeah.
I haven't shit on a movie in a long time.
I mean, and that's fine. I think the last one you did was that Call movie, which made me want to, I don't know, jump in front of a train.
Yeah,
this movie was like, I'm trying to figure out what. Oh man.
Like There was fun scenes, man. Like when she was in the vents, that was hilarious. And the alligator was like popping out and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that was fun. There are fun moments to this movie. And like there are moments that you could tell they were having fun with this. But I could also see there was times where it just didn't look like anything they were doing was working.
Yeah. Would you be surprised, Josh? I know you're going to say yes because this movie has a positive rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It is 61% with critics. Again, I had fun with this movie, but yeah.
No, that doesn't surprise me. I'm not going to agree with, like, I honestly thought my opinion of this might not be a popular opinion. And I honestly haven't, I don't know, man. I have sugar-coated my shit for a long time on the internet, especially on YouTube for years I don't know, I don't know
just
why.
to make sure you didn't want to make enemies, you didn't want to lose gigs and connections because you didn't like something.
Yeah.
I think. So, which I understand, man.
I am not sugarcoating on this one for some
I
reason.
don't want you to sugarcoat anything, man. So, it's a mixed thing. I like it. I had fun with it. I'd probably wait till it's on demand somewhere though for like free.
Nicolas Cage, I love you.
Let's go over it. Not that there's all that much to like plot wise. This movie isn't super deep. So this is like where you could have moved, like the very beginning of this movie where these couple of people stuck in the place are like getting eaten. If they would have just shown the little girl and like
the tie-in, like that was their whoa, which, once you figure that out, it is like a whoa moment. But there's not anything else. Like they just showed Nicolas Cage's tires get slashed, and then I knew it was like a big setup thing. It was like very obvious, and then that's it. That's all you get, and then it's like you're in the movie, and then you're supposed to care about why she's there trying to burn the building down and why she's there doing any of it, and she's just like, and then she's just a persistent character. That's all you know of her. You don't know that she, like there's no tie-in. She's just a very persistent character, and it almost comes across as annoying instead of something that you are supposed to back.
They introduce her like trying to burn this place down, which makes sense, right? But then the sheriff, who's her mother, like then drags her back to their little shitty like trailer home, and like handcuffs her to a friggin' like some
radiator.
piping, and and then goes, hey, you can piss and shit in this bucket here, and there's like I forget what she said to eat, but like you're like, oh man, you're starting off with like, this is how you're trying to make us feel sympathy for the sheriff, which you end up figuring out why later on in the movie, but it's just like these characters are not like really well liked at the get-go. And I hated the pickup truck or the tow truck guy who takes Nick Cage to the thing and basically tells him that he doesn't take anything but cash. And he's
the whole setup. It's so like you're screwed, like this. Yeah. But this is the whole like lead up scene. Is that type of setting and stuff reminds me of that movie, The Nocturnal Animals. Like that is such a scary, like in between cities in like the middle of America where there's like hours upon hours between anything. And the people that live in those gaps of time, like there's no laws, there's no like, that is so scary to think about because it's true, man. Like you're fucked in those areas, man. You are completely fucked, and those people literally own that area. They know everything that's going on and everyone that's coming and going, and that is like, it's scary as fuck, man. And that is the scariest setting. And if you put your alerter onto that is so scary. And like, I don't know, like the setup was good because that you are completely screwed. You're in their hands.
Well, they the guy's like, yeah, I need $1,000 for. He like charged him like $200 for his toe and like tires. It's like $1,000, and so he's like, but he doesn't take credit cards. He doesn't take his ATM's busted because the whole thing is that they're trying to get people into this manual labor.
And they don't have internet, and they didn't get it because.
And Nicolas Cage never talks, but like you also never see, he doesn't have like a cell phone or something to try to call for help. Like, I don't know, or they never like.
It's all too convenient. To get him there. Like there's no time or attention put into he's just like, okay, like can it work it off? Yeah, let's go work it off. It's like, okay, that's it. Like when they show the backstory again of the fact that the mayor of the town and stuff has done this several times before, blah 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 blah, and told the story, and that's where you get the fucking the backstory finally. But again, that's at like the 3/4 mark of the movie, or well, maybe not that far in, but like too far in for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this point is like the rest of the movie is pretty like Nicolas Cage goes off and on from cleaning this place, which he does a very good job of, and killing animatronics. Then the teenagers come in.
But why does Willy just stand there the entire time and watch all of his minions get pegged off one by one by one? Like, that's what I don't stand about this. Is if he is like the badass and like, you know, he does get his stripes in on Nicolas Cage at the end, but like I don't understand if he is the main bad guy that he doesn't like fuck around a little more during this.
I mean, is he the serial killer like leader? So like you find out at some point when you get the backstory that like
I guess he would have been the cult leader probably.
Yeah, the serial killer who brought like it was like the serial killer like
the backstory. This just reminded me of the Lodge, like the backstory of the Lodge and stuff. Like, did you see the Lodge?
I watched the Lodge.
So like, you know, the whole backstory with the cult and blah blah blah. I just like my mind just kept going back to that, and I was like, it just tied into that. Oh, I don't know, like in a funny way, like because they made satanic cults and drinking Kool-Aid look funny somehow, and like weird, and not like it. I don't know, like it wasn't. If there was more deadpan, it would have been a good thing in this. Like,
it kind of reminds me how you're talking about. There's a movie that's on Shudder, and I think it was another Shudder exclusive called Satanic Panic with Rebecca Romaine's in it.
Okay,
and this girl like delivers a pizza, and it's like a cult that tries to use her for the you know, to birth the Antichrist. The same plot that's in everything, you know, like when it comes to like possession stuff. But that's like horror comedy too, and it made me laugh, I think, a lot more than this did.
It's again, all the ingredients are here, but it just didn't. Like, there's points where jokes were there, and I was like, because I know you enjoyed this, I bet he probably might have laughed at that, but I wasn't pissed off during, but I don't think the jokes were really landing on me at all during this. Really, there was after the dance, and the dance was like one of the first times I was like actually like and like laughing and having more fun with this movie, because I felt like that was the first time the movie went all in and was doing having the as much fun as it could as well.
Yeah,
that was the first time. I don't know,
dude. There are so many actual kind of little memorable moments in this movie. Like the fights with all the animatronics are good. I think it's really funny because like he keeps like he like murders the ostrich is the first one that attacks him, and he kicks the shit out of, and which is so funny when he gets it down, and he like rips the spine out of it, but it's like, you know, this metal like neck or whatever it is.
Mortal Kombat Fatality.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat. And so he fights this ostrich, and then he's like, what was he gonna say? I just completely lost my train of thought, man. Holy crap. Holy crap, Josh. Welcome to the world. No, but he fights this ostrich, and then he fights the gorilla.
See,
fairly.
The lead up for the ostrich, I felt like the ostrich got more of like a fun horror-esque lead up. Like all the other like animatronic characters didn't get like no characters got the right intro. I feel like there was nothing other than like this character. Like it got the little creepy and like the funny, oh, where is it? Oh, now it's not in the background. Now it is like the Snoop or Scooby-Doo type stuff. And I liked that for this character. Like the ostrich got a little bit of an introduction and some more like, I don't know, like personality. Like you could get kind of understand its personality from its intro, and then it was in front of you. And no, I didn't feel that for any other one other than Willy, who was just kind of in the spotlight in the background, like kind of menacing, but not looking scary at all because of if the lighting was just a little bit better, he could have looked scarier. Like, it was just like a spotlight on him, and you put it a little bit behind, and then his eyes would have looked, I don't know, man. I'm so nitpicky right now, and it could have been so much better. Fuck.
Maybe put some like red lights on him. He does look. I think Willy is the creepiest looking of all of them. But like he sits on stage with his like missing ear and everything like that, and looking menacing.
I think my favorite one was the alligator. Like I loved the look of the alligator the most.
Yeah, the alligator was pretty cool, and he was a pervert, so that was kind of funny because he was on like walking in on the teenagers. Yeah, so basically what happens,
just, like in the corner.
Yeah, they the female character gets unlocked, brings back her friends, come with her back to Willy's. She gets in somehow through the vents, right, and then they all fall through the roof. They all act like idiot teenagers in a horror movie, and all get murdered besides the girl. And then the mom comes back, and and then that's when you learn your backstory, and then all the puppets were serial killers, members of a cult that we kind of mentioned earlier, and then they all like committed suicide when the cops were going to find them, was going to arrest them, right? And it gets to the point where the town was like sacrificing drivers through to them so that they wouldn't like
I like that
anymore.
Revelation. Like it's like, oh, that's cool. And it's like this funnel now that they have to appease, kind of like the soul collector. It's like, are we done yet? Like, we giving you more. Like I like that whole like, oh, you gotta keep feeding the beast. It's like, no, you gotta keep leaving our town alone, please, right? Like I liked that. You get so that the backstory and all that I liked. Like I said, the ingredients are there. Like there's enough legs for this movie to exist and to be a thing. I really wish it was done better. Like, dude, can we get a remake of this in 2022? Fuck. Like, come on, Wrong Turn just got a remake. Can we get a remake of Willy's Wonderland, please?
There's a couple of conditions. One, you have to hire Michael Bay to direct.
There was a lot of lens flares in this, so I think he might be in, man.
That's J.J. Abrams is the lens flare man.
No, Michael Bay loves his lens flares too.
I know, but J.J. Abrams is the one who's known for it. That's like his lens flare. Star Trek has more lens flares than like any other movie
like
ever
literally
made.
Lens flares that have no like. I like lighting that is what the fuck? See, I'm just losing words now. motivated lighting. So like when you have a lens flare, there has to be like a source of light that is generating these. So it's a motivated flare. He doesn't even need motivational light. It's just add a flare. Well, where's the light that would motivate this flare to be happening? Doesn't matter. No motivation, just flares, right? That's what I was getting at. Yeah, he loves them so much that it doesn't even need the motivated lighting. It just flare for no reason. But that's what this movie did as well. And that's what I was talking about. That optical flare overlay that was placed all of a sudden was gone, and there was no light there. And then all of a sudden the flare turned back on, and I was like, was that an accident, or am I just looking into this way too much?
Was this movie a little dark then? I mean, you're talking about the lighting, and I'm thinking about it now. It's never super bright outside of like the kitchen and which is kind of like what.
Well, no, but they add that as an effect, showing like, because he's not talking, they have to add these like these flare up things that when he's got the right level of soda pop and crazy energy from it, the like flare, and like it almost turns into what the fuck is that movie with Jason Statham, Crank? It does like the Crank effect.
And you can't stop going. I'm gonna die.
So like, but you know what I'm talking about, the camera shake and like the grrr, they add all those effects after. Like the camera didn't change. It's still going smooth to him, and they add all those effects after, and it adds enough of an effect that it's almost like a music video. So like this was just like a poorly done music video.
Man, I really did. I really wanted to like this more than I did. I enjoyed it.
Like I feel like my if I liked this more, you might have liked this more. I feel like my shitting on this is making you like it less.
I think it's not even that. I think just talking it over with you and you pointing out stuff, it goes, because I generally, after I finished watching it, I'm like, I enjoyed this, but it wasn't like, it didn't blow me away, which I wanted it to. And you're pointing out stuff. I'm like, that's like, it makes sense to me, kind of things, because
I'm so nitpicky for some reason about this movie, and I'm not usually that nitpicky about indie movies, but when this is this weird line, because I can't consider this an indie almost because of Nicolas Cage being in it, and the fact like this is an interesting conversation actually that I want to have with you, because like in my mind this is crossed the line to, this is a Hollywood budget now to me, so I can be vicious and brutally honest about it because it doesn't live in my indie criteria. And
it's I don't know, man. I feel like this is still it's Nicolas Cage is a weird thing, right? It's like, because he's an
anomaly, and I love him for that.
But he's like a big star, or used to be a big star.
No, he's
right?
a big
so
star.
That makes
he's
you
still
think,
a big star.
Well, then, but even
if
him,
he has swung, like whatever your guide is for stars, A, B, C, D, whatever, wherever he lands on your personal star gauge doesn't matter, because he has lived on the A-list for longer than most stars' careers. So he still has that place in for me because of the foundation of his movies. And when you go to someone's IMDb page and it says known for, even though those known fors haven't been for a while, those movies are huge, man. Like, it's like, you got to respect at a certain level, because
but I maybe that's why you're questioning it being indie. Like, dude, everything else about this movie besides Nick Cage being in it is as indie as you get. Like, it's with a small budget, because this isn't a medium-sized movie. Medium-sized movies are like $40 million budgets now.
No,
like, this
man.
is like,
if you're like, I'm talking about like a Blumhouse budget is $9 million, or
which is like this
is
half of that,
$6 to $9 million, a Blumhouse budget. But that is a Hollywood movie. That's not indie anymore. That is a full-on Hollywood production, man. And $5 million, come on, man. That is a fuck ton of money. And I understand in the package that I can deliver personally right now, I would deliver something 10 times better than this fucking movie for $5 million. Okay? Holy shit.
I think you have to. I don't know, man. I think you need to do some yoga after this, Josh, and
I
talk
just
about
don't know
how-
where the fucking like, Jesus, give me a better. God damn it. Like, it's not the actor's fault. I don't even know, man. I'm so mad that I always want the best for every movie. That's it. That's all. And like, there's certain aspects of this that are like, the t-shirt is rad. I would rep that shirt. And I like that they got some, but like, art direction is huge for me in movies, man, because I'm an art director, have been for a very, very long time. And the attention to detail that movies take is something that I look into overly. And like, going up against Psycho Goreman, where like the art direction is everything in that movie. They just fucking get it. They know what they are through and through and through. And it is like, it's just a grand slam at every single mark with that movie. And this movie, you could see it getting like, when you're at the carnival and you're hitting that, like, the hammer thing, like Psycho Goreman goes up with the hammer and just like the bell explodes off. And then Willy's Wonderland, we're at Willy's fucking Wonderland, Psycho Goreman comes and just destroys its own game, and Willy's with that little hammer just going, okay, at every art direction mark or every like creative mark, it was like hitting the hammer and only getting to like, oh, the 3/4 mark or the halfway mark or the quarter. Like, this is just like my like, at how I watch a movie. It's like, oh, you could have made this decision in this point and it would have been better. Like, I don't know. I'm just, I feel like I'm just angry. I don't know why.
Well, you know what, dude? I completely understand. You're passionate, and that's why I love you, and I love talking about these movies with you, because you're a fun guy to talk to. Let's just wrap up this silly movie. So
like, I loved Liv, like her and her passion. She was a cool character.
Yeah,
but
you find out. I don't even know if I said. We find out that her parents were two of the victims, and
I like that. But I want, if you get that information earlier on in the movie, then you would be like, let's go Liv, let's get him, like, fuck him, like, he fucking killed your parents, and you've lived your whole life like this. Like, man, that is devastating. But nope. She's just a badass with some stupid friends. That's all she is. And then there's another badass in the kitchen cleaning up with a beer.
The janitor, as he's titled on IMDb and everything. So they end up killing all the animatronics except for the fairy, who ends up blowing herself up along with Tex and the mechanic dude. So it looked like she died, but they could probably bring her back if they do everything. Every other character got their shit kicked out of them by Nicolas Cage or a car, because the turtle got run over at the end, right?
I like
Tito,
that he
the
has
turtle.
his muscle car and like all the cliche things that you kind of almost expect Nicolas Cage to have now in a character, like his boots from
his leather jacket.
Leather jacket, the shades. I guess now is he a beard, like full on, like that, like super groomed black beard now? Like, is, I don't know. Like, I like it still for him, but like, is that his
It's like his indie horror look or whatever.
Man, I love Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, he does a lot of acting in this movie for not having a line, which is amazing. So.
Yeah, but that's Nicolas Cage, and that's why I love him.
I had fun with this movie, but like, it is. It's very easy to watch this movie and go, man, they missed so many like opportunities here. So
I can't take anything back that I said. So this episode exists.
It does exist, dude. You're not. Is what I want you to do that. I want you to be honest because that's all that matters. Is I don't want you forcing yourself to say shit you like, shit you didn't, and you're not gonna offend
Dude,
me.
that's why I stopped reviewing movies on my channel, to be honest. Like, I started getting movies sent to me that like a movie previously to it was an indie, a Canadian indie or something, and I was like, man, this is super good. Then I started getting other Canadian indies sent to me, and I don't know if they wanted me to just fluff it and give them a positive review, but I ended up not liking the movies I was being sent, and I was like, I know some of the people in these, and I know some of the people attached to it, and I don't want to shit on movies that I know people like. This is getting a weird fucking territory for me. I don't want to touch this shit. Like, I stop reviewing movies now. Fuck this. Like, I can't. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do, man? Like, I don't know. Like, I can't do that shit, man. Like, that's fucked.
You know,
hey,
how
my
hard
friends
it is
in this movie, it sucked. Great, awesome. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, I don't know.
And you know how hard it is. I mean, you know how hard it is to make a movie. So
I want the
you
best for every movie,
yeah.
and if it's like, that's why I feel so bad even shitting on this movie, because there's a lot of people that spent a lot of hard time on this movie, and who the fuck am I? I'm just some fucking asshole from Calgary. Like, that's how I feel about myself, right? But again, it pissed me off, man. I feel like I could do better, maybe. Who knows?
You're my asshole from Calgary. It's okay. You're still my buddy. Okay. Well,
but that's I guess why it's hard for me to even shit on movies. Like, I am very passionate about film. Yeah. Very, very passionate about film. So it's hard for me to like shit on the craft and people doing. But if there's the ingredients and it's not there, I guess I'm just going to bazooka your movie now.
It's fine with me, man. Like I said, I like this movie. I just don't think it's worth $20 or whatever to pay to rent it. So when this appears on one of the services, I would watch it. Josh even kind of sounds like he would watch it if he was like tell you to watch it, right? But
I say if you, like I said, like if you aren't me. Like, this movie has enough of the ingredients. If you are a fan of all this genre, like, fucking definitely check this one out, because it is stupid, and it does have enough to entertain at the levels that I normally want to be entertained for something like this. It's just when you are coming on the heels of something in the same sort of subgenre where there's puppet style characters and comedy and horror, like, holy fuck, is this a huge downturn from the bar that was just previously set from Psycho Goreman. Like, there's 2021 is fucked now, because like, I've seen like, seriously, you cannot go up against Psycho Goreman. There's just gonna be a versus, like a boxing style versus now. Like, every movie that goes up against Psycho Goreman is just going to be fucking pummeled now. I'm sorry. You did this, man. You're like, hey, what about Psycho Goreman? I was like, wait, what? And I was like, how did this fly under my fucking radar? And 100% yes. Like, can I sleep with this movie? Like, not sexually. Well, maybe. I am officially a hunky boy. But no, I mean, like, I want it as a pillow to cuddle at night.
I have to inform everyone that Josh and I both did receive Valentine's from Psycho Goreman, so that
has nothing to do with my love for the movie.
I know.
Though. I just genuinely love the movie.
It makes us love them also, the people that are so passionate about their hunky boy,
But that's why, again, dude, like, I understand there's teams involved making movies and stuff, and for me to shit on a movie, I feel like I'm shitting on a team, not just and like, I don't want to do that. Like, I feel bad about shitting on this movie for the writer and the director of this movie, but because those are the ones that I think didn't do a good job. I don't know.
Okay, Josh, what are we gonna do next week? I mean, you had some idea back in your head last week.
I think it was this one, to be honest.
Was it? Okay. I mean, if you want to pick the next one,
we could do Wrong
don't know.
Turn.
Do you want to do Wrong Turn? We could do it. Let's do it because I feel like I may end up shitting all over that. Then let's do Wrong Turn next week.
Oh, dude, there's that new Monster Hunter movie too that just came out.
But that's not anything horror. That's an action movie.
Are you sure? Yeah, it's got monster in the title, but okay. I guess she is just kind of like a.
It's Paul W.S. Anderson and all that stuff. So
Wrong Turn is definitely, especially because of how pissed off that it exists. I am, but the cast looks kind of cool. Like I don't know, like
it's another one that's also that I don't know how is that. I think Blumhouse might have had something to do with rebooting that. I'm not sure that.
See, I love Blumhouse. Like, or there was actually I wanted to check out Possessor. That one I heard.
Oh, I wanted to watch Possessor.
Okay,
let's do Possessor.
Yeah, let's do Possessor. I've heard it's just fucking mental, and that's got Andrea from Mandy, and she is only in cool movies. So
that's the son of that's Cronenberg's son directed that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, let's check that out. I instead of being pissed off for 2 weeks in a row, let's.
Yeah, I've heard.
I don't know why I'm so pissed
David
off, man.
Cronenberg. David Cronenberg is one of my favorites, and it's like just things like The Fly, man. The Fly is one of my favorite movies ever. So.
Did you see
let's do the Possessor.
The Fly remake where they're like in the motel and stuff, or was that Bug? Or no, that was The Fly.
That's Bug. That's a weird fucking movie, dude.
That was a cool fucking movie though. Like that was a messed up movie, but
me and my wife back in the day snuck into one extra movie after a movie back, and that was Bug. And I'm like, what is this? Bug is a weird fucking movie.
Snuck into that?
Yeah.
And did you like not knowing what you were gonna get type thing, or you?
So it was like, so we went and watched a movie, and then like after that movie,
I loved doing that. By the way, like when I was a kid. There was like a perfect setup at the one by my house.
So I think we picked it because it was like opening. It was like, the next time or whatever. Yeah. Whatever we watched first. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
I own that movie for some fucking reason, but yeah, it's I my collection is fucking weird, but it's the time span is so funny because you can see right when I stopped buying Blu-rays, and that was I believe 2015 was just all of a sudden whoosh, it just stopped and it went to all digital but like my collection up until 2015 is like all the best movies from every year up until 2015 and it's just weird ones too though, like ones that
okay
I don't know.
Josh,
let's just keep it.
I love your face. Let's keep it Possessor next week.
Can't keep it. Possessor.
Let us say goodnight. We are murdermoose.com. I am Rod_Johnson everywhere. And you are Josh WRB. So
hey, don't come with the picket forks just because I shat on your movie. I'm sorry.
Josh still loves you.
Don't cancel me.
Don't cancel Josh. Okay, everybody. We love you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being awesome. And we'll catch you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.